back, everyone, to my series Cricut Miss in July. All month long, I will be dropping beginner-friendly tutorials that are gonna help you gain some confidence with your Cricut. For day 16, I am gonna show you guys exactly how to make pocket invitations with cardstock paper. If you've looked to purchase these online, they usually go for about $1 each, so you know what? In the world of DIY, we can make anything cheaper. The one you see me using in this video is actually about 22 cents each. I got it in a bulk pack off of Amazon. If you do the math really quick, that means to make 100 of these would only be 22 bucks. If I were to buy 100 of these pre-made ones, it would cost me 100. So yes, if I only have to pay 1/5 of the cost, please sign me up. With that being said, let's jump right into this tutorial. As always, all the materials I use to create this are linked on my LTK for you guys. And if you're someone that just really doesn't have the patience to follow along with this and do this on their own, I do have this template available on my Etsy shop for you guys. And as you see here, this is the Design Space link you'll be getting. Now, in order to create this on your own, we want to open up Design Space and we want to start with the square. I am going to keep it this dark charcoal color just because it reminds me of the cardstock paper that I am using and I want to visualize it in my head. Now, the first thing we want to do is change the main size, which is going to be 5 by 7. Make sure you're hitting the unlock button so it doesn't stay a perfect square. Now we want to move on to make our left side flaps. We're going to grab another square and we are going to change the sizing again. Hit that unlock button and we are going to change this to 1.5 by 7 inches. Now with the design I went with, I did have a slight little flap to it, so it had more of a point. So in order to create that, we are going to go over to the left again, grab another shape, and we're going to use a triangle this time. I'm going to change the color to light gray so you can see what I'm doing with this. We are going to rotate this to the left 90 degrees, and I'm also changing the sizing of this to 7 by 1 inches. Now select both your triangle and the rectangle on the left side and hit align. Make sure you select center vertically, and now we want to connect these two. So to do that, you want to make sure these two shapes are touching each other. You can zoom in as much as you need. You really don't want to overlap or else it's going to mess with the sizing. Once you think you have it in a good spot, click and drag over to have both of those layers selected. Go down to the bottom where I just clicked and hit combine and then weld. Then it should look like your two shapes just morphed into one. If you did this correctly, your sizing should be around 2.5 for your width. If it's not and you're a perfectionist like me, go ahead and change that just so it extends to that length. Now we are going to move on to the right side where we are going to be putting our side cards. So instead of creating a new shape, I am just going to take my center one and duplicate it. If you don't know the shortcut keys for that, it is Command C and then Command V. Our length for this is obviously going to stay at 7, but we are going to change the width to 3.9. Now we are going to have to go ahead and create the pocket for this side card. So again, instead of creating a new shape, I am going to duplicate this rectangle. Bring it down right below it, and we are going to keep the width of this because we want it to stay proportionate with it. The only thing is we do not want the length to stay. We want it to be a little shorter to create that pocket. So let's go with 3 inches for this. Now, if you want your pocket to be straight across, leave it just like this. But if you remember my original one, we did have an indent, so I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. Go over to the shapes and grab a triangle. I'm going to change the color again so you can see exactly what I'm doing. I'm going to bring it down to my pocket and we are going to change the sizing of this. Make sure to hit the unlock button and change this sizing to 3.5 by 0.5. Now I'm going to click and drag over both shapes and I want to hit the alignment to make sure this is perfectly aligned at the bottom. And also make sure you center this horizontally. Now if yours looks like this, you're good to proceed to the next step, which is to select both of them once again by clicking and dragging and going to that bottom right and clicking slice. It's not going to look like anything happened, but you're going to want to keep pulling at this object and you're going to see that we just made an indent in there. And then you can go ahead and delete those other two objects because obviously we do not need them anymore. The last thing we need to do with this pocket is make the tabs for it so that we can glue it down and secure the pocket to the top. So what I'm going to do is bring in another square and I'm going to make the sizing for this 0.5 inches by 3 inches. Then you want to go ahead and drop in a triangle and you want to make the height for the triangle 0.5 inches so it matches the height of our little rectangle here. Also, I forgot to note, just turn the triangle 90 degrees to the right. And as you can see here, I'm just trying to align this triangle perfectly so the top of the triangle is aligned with the top of the rectangle. When you think you have the point of the triangle aligned, go ahead and select both that and the rectangle and we're going to do the slice tool again. And as you can see, when I pull this away, I have my little tab corner. And then I'm just taking my leftover object here and I'm making sure it's perfect with the other side I just cut out. So then I am flipping this and I am also going to be slicing it from this tab. And as you can see, as I back out of this, that I have just created a little tab on the left side, and now all I have to do is duplicate this shape, and I'm going to flip it so that it is on the other side of this little pocket. Now take a deep breath because we did the hardest part of all of this. Now we just kind of have to set this up and put things together. So in order to make that easier on us, I am just going to select every other shape, and I am going to make it a different color so I'm able to visualize and see where everything is. Now I want to start bringing my pieces together. Slowly kind of inch them them towards each other, make sure you're using the alignment tool. It is there to help you make sure everything is perfect. Also, zoom in if you need to. You need to make sure all these objects are touching. If they are not, you're gonna get unwanted slices. Now, the reason I told you guys to make this different colors is because we now need to make marks to tell our Cricut where we need the fold lines to be. So in the shapes tool, we are going to take a line and we are gonna make it 7 inches, and everywhere you see the different colors touching, you wanna put a line. And also make sure you change the size of the line depending on where it is, because you don't wanna overextend it. Also, make sure you change your line function depending on what you want it to do. If you have a scoring tool, make sure you use that. I am using DeBoss for these because that is what I have and I didn't buy a scoring tool. Both work just as well. Now let's put everything together. When you think you've had that all situated, let's go ahead and highlight this entire thing. If you hold down Shift and click on all the layers besides the ones that are lines in your right side tab, and then go down to combine and hit weld, you are gonna make all this one shape. Now, to make sure those lines we made don't move from the pocket fold, we need to select this entire thing by clicking and dragging, and we are going to attach it. I am warning you now, if you do not attach them, they will move when you go on to make. So please, please, please make sure you attach it here. And then if you're like me and want to be extra and add the date to it, you can flip this horizontally, and then on that little right tab, you are now going to make your date there because we are doing it the opposite way. So add in your text layer, you can deboss it, that's what I ended up doing, or you can put in a pen and you can have the pen function right in your date. Really, the decision is up to you. This is just how I went about it. And then you should be good to go to send this through your Cricut with your cardstock. And that's all I got for you guys today. Make sure you come back tomorrow for Cricut Miss in July, day 17.